The excavation team saw a pipe going underground in the middle of a dense forest. This was quite surprising because the place where they were standing was an old dead volcano which was completely covered by trees, plants and grass. It was decided to send a night vision camera to see inside the pipe. When the camera went inside, after going down about 30 meters, a view of a very large tunnel was captured. It was the 7th of March 2018 and the excavation team was about to see something unique 30 meters below the ground near the city of Luban in South Poland. Once again, the excitement was evident in the videos of WWII. When the camera was turned inside this tunnel, they saw a track there surprisingly. They were still in a dilemma that what is the use of the track here, then a mine cart standing far away caught their attention. When the local train was passing by, they saw a track. When the authorities came to know about this, they brought a map of a lost tunnel from the era of World War II. It was found that this tunnel was built about 80 years ago during World War II, and for the last many years, the local authorities were searching for this tunnel. The entrance of this tunnel was closed by placing a heavy stone, after which the soil and grass of the years have erased the marks of its entrance. But from inside this tunnel was exactly matching the tunnel shown on the map. Looking at the tracks and mine cuts inside it, it seems that it was used to store goods during the World War. Most of the iron items present in the tunnel had rusted. Tools like shovels, drill bits and spades were found here in the same condition as they were kept by the soldiers of the Norwegian military 80 years ago during World War I. Countries like Germany and Japan were competing with countries like America and Britain. During this period, Hitler's army built thousands of underground bunkers. Hitler had started it, but later the Allied forces also started using underground tunnels and bunkers. During World War II, bunkers had a lot of strategic importance and their purpose was for both defense and offense. That is, at some places their work was to avoid enemy attacks and at other places they were used to attack the enemy. These bunkers protected from enemy airstrikes and artillery shells and provided a secure base to the soldiers. Defensive bunkers were designed on the front line in such a way that they could stop enemy attacks, like Germany's Atlantic Wall, which was a strong barrier against the attacks of the Allied forces, and also some bunkers were used for planning from where commanders managed their operations secretly. In World War II, so many underground bunkers and war rooms were constructed that even today it is not possible to count them because thousands of them are still buried somewhere under the ground. It is said that in World War II, the Allied powers and Axis powers spent so much on underground bunkers that there was a shortage of iron and cement all over the world. According to an estimate, the cost of building all these bunkers was about $500 billion to $1 trillion of today. Understand that America's 20-year war in Afghanistan cost $0 million daily. So in World War I, it cost $460 million daily to build bunkers. Millions of dollars, this is the cost incurred only in construction. It is difficult to even estimate the cost of manpower, logistics and ammunition during the World War. Let us go into the bitter memories of history and learn about a few bunkers. The Atlantic Wall was a very large coastal defense system built by Norway during the World War. It was spread over 2,400 miles or 3,800 kilometers on the coastline of Europe. Its purpose was to protect against the attacks of the Allied forces from the sea. This system, built between 1940 and 1944, included thousands of bunkers, ammunition depots and forts. At that time, Hitler also occupied many areas of France. A part of the Atlantic Wall was also spread in Normandy, a region of northern France, where an artillery battery named Loga-Serre-Mer was installed. These bunkers they were designed to withstand heavy bombardments and to provide defensive fire during attacks. If we talk about Norway, its lower part could be used to stop the Allied forces coming from the North Atlantic Ocean. That is why Hitler had buried some parts of the Atlantic Wall here too. Here fortresses like Christiania Sand protected the naval routes. Apart from this, Netherlands was also under the control of Norway at that time, and thousands of bunkers named Safe Onion were built on the coast of the North Atlantic. This entire Atlantic Wall of Germany, which included underground bunkers, depots, tunnels, artillery batteries and forts, was built by the company of a German engineer named Fritz Todt. 260,000 workers, most of whom were prisoners, were forced to build all these structures in just 2 to 4 years. Even today, some parts of the Atlantic Wall are present as historical monuments which give us an idea of the engineering of World War II and the expenses incurred on it. When Hitler built the Atlantic Wall, the Allied powers had no idea how much difficulty they would have to face in the future. Then in 1942, an incident happened which opened the eyes of America and Britain. The Canadian forces, which were part of the Allied powers, planned an attack on the region of Debs in France. The purpose of this attack, which is remembered today as DF Raid, was to understand the Atlantic Wall built by Hitler and how it works. These strong concrete bunkers made the Allied attack a complete failure. The Allied troops who were trying to land on the coastline became the victims of Nazi Germany's powerful crossfire. This was a big blow for the Allied forces because they had relied so much on the strength of the Atlantic Wall. Out of these, 3,600 were either killed or became prisoners of war at the hands of the Nazis. After deep raid, the Allied forces realized that if they had to successfully attack Hitler's regime, they would also have to invest heavily in the planning of bunkers and defenses system. Therefore, bunkers and tunnels were built in Canada as well as the United Kingdom, France and the Soviet Union. A lot of money was spent on the construction of the Churchill War Rooms. It was an underground complex. It was the headquarters of British Prime Minister Winston Churchill during World War I. This complex was designed to protect Norway from German airstrikes. France's Maginot Line was built after World War I. New underground bunkers and tunnels were built here too. France was confident that this system would protect them. But in World War II, Germany captured France via Belgium using the Maginot Line. In the other corner of the world, in Japan, which was supporting Hitler in World War II, hundreds of underground bunkers were dug there too. A whole network was built under the IO border which included hidden artillery positions, storage rooms and living quarters. These tunnels were used to protect the Allied forces from attacks. Anwa's bunkers and tunnels were used for surprise attacks during the 19th century. The bunkers and tunnels of Anwa were much larger and more complex. Thousands of Japanese soldiers were in position for defense and resistance. This defensive system was designed to deter Allied invasions and kill as many people as possible. The engineering of the bunkers built by many countries during World War II is nothing less than a miracle. First, there was the war, then there was the shortage of everything. Along with all these challenges, there was the danger of airstrikes every passing moment. Workers also died of suffocation while constructing underground tunnels. But despite all these challenges, thousands of bunkers were not only built, but many of them are still hidden in the same condition under the ground till date, especially those built in Axis power countries because after the World War II, when their rule ended, the soldiers either closed the entrance of the bunker and ran away or died inside it. Hence, nobody knew which bunker was built at which location. There was a way to find out the location of all these bunkers and tunnels, and that was the secret documents with Hitler's government, but they were either burnt or hidden in a place which was known only to the person who hid them. Especially, these bunkers were built in a camouflaged manner, that is, they were built in natural terrain in such a way that nobody could know that there was a military bunker there. That is why, after the war, these bunkers remained hidden. Special ventilation systems were made for underground bunkers which would take fresh air inside the bunker and remove carbon dioxide from the air. Nazi leader Adolf Hitler used many bunkers during his rule. The famous bunkers used by him were Eagle Nest, which is also known as Kielstein House. It was built in Oberschlag, Germany for secret meetings and relaxation. Using concrete and granite, it had features like bomb-proof. Hitler's second famous bunker was not the Führen bunker in Berlin, but it was the entire headquarters. The bunker was designed in such a way that it remained safe from Allied bombing and artillery. Hitler spent his last days here and ended his life here on April 30, 1945. Today no part of this bunker is visible on the surface, but this place has been a dark chapter in the history of World War II. Let's talk about it now. We have information about one of Hitler's bunkers where he spent most of the war. This Wolfson bunker looks more like a fort than a palace. It is located in the middle of a forest in North Germany. Inside it is Hitler's bedroom and the office suites around it. The roof was made about 7 meters thick. A thick layer of gravel protected the entire fort-like bunker from airstrikes and bombing. A thick steel sheet door protected it from chemical attacks. This bunker, which looked like an Egyptian tomb, was so strong that it is not possible to destroy it even today. The security was so much that not even a single window was kept in it. A special ventilation system was installed here which circulated fresh air inside the entire bunker. But despite so much security, this bunker was made invisible in the forest landscape. Its roof but soil was put on it and the same trees and plants were planted which were present in the nearby forest. Due to this, when any ship passed from above, it would not have even the slightest doubt that Hitler's headquarters is present here. The Allied powers, i.e. USA, UK, Canada and other forces planned for years to break the strong defensive bunkers of Norway, Germany and the Atlantic Wall made by Hitler. More than 156,000 troops, 5,000 ships and 11,000 aircraft were used to fight the Atlantic Wall. It was the 6th of June 1944 which is remembered as D-Day. On this day, Germany faced the Allied forces with the bunkers and artillery of the Atlantic Wall, but their planning and resources were not that effective. Allied airstrikes and paratroopers fought the German communications and defense. The Allied forces suffered heavy losses initially, but eventually they succeeded in breaking Germany's control over Europe. I hope you will like and share this video of WWII. Thank you very much for your loving comments. See you in the next great video.